So the UFC White House card has been announced and Jon Jones' name is absent from that list. Dana White says he's finished. Jon says he's not. Let's talk about it. Okay, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. So Dana White came out and told a reporter at a press conference recently that Jon Jones was never, ever going to fight on the White House card. Now, there's been a lot of pushback, a lot of media pundits, a lot of the fans. Jon Jones himself has come out to expose Dana White to say that him and his team were heavily in negotiations with the UFC right up until the last minute, where the UFC tried to lowball Jon Jones, and, ultimately Jon Jones refused the lowball offer, and we are here where we are now. Dana White's refused to believe, he's basically said that there was never any negotiations because he doesn't want it to be leaked that they tried to lowball Jon, because there's always been a massive issue when it comes to fighter pay at the UFC. So, Tom Aspinall, the current heavyweight champion, UFC heavyweight champion, the man who Jon Jones ducked for 2 years, even he came out in support of Jon, saying, why are the UFC not paying Jon what he's worth? At the moment now, we're going through a little bit of a strange time in the UFC when it comes to pay, especially as Conor Benn got paid $15 million for a one-fight deal for Zuffa Boxing. It caused uproar amongst the UFC fighters and the fans. Jon Jones asked for $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall, and the UFC actually granted it, and only for Jon to turn his back on the UFC and say no, he doesn't want that fight. Turn his back on the UFC and his fans and refuse that fight, which obviously pissed the UFC off. Jon came down from his original offer of 30 to 15, saying he will fight Alex Pereira for 15 at the White House. The UFC said no. They offered him something less. Obviously, Jon's like, that's crazy, bro. And, and then Dana White just now is trying to say that there was never no negotiations. So anyway, Jon Jones, after Dana White said he was finished, he categorically said, Jon is finished. No more. Jon has asked to be released. Jon Jones shocks his fans and the UFC and say, well, if I'm done, release me from my slave contract. Yes, that's me. I've put that on there. Slave contract. Because if the UFC are saying they don't want to book Jon no more, he's a liability, he's a risk, he doesn't want to fight sometimes, he gets all funny, ducking and stuff like that. They said he's done. So if he's done, release the man from his contract and let him go somewhere else. Don't hold on to his contract and stifle him and stop him from earning any dough, because the UFC don't want to pay him. If the UFC don't want to pay him, somebody else will. Francis Ngannou's over there at MVP, and he's taken a fight on the undercard of Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. And, Jake Paul, he's looking to sign Jon Jones. And we can get the super fight that we always wanted. If he could sign Jon Jones, I'm sure they'll pay Jon Jones handsomely. Netflix will be happy to put on a Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou MMA fight for the MMA undisputed lineal championship held by Francis Ngannou. But I don't know. Listen, I think the UFC are kind of like acting kind of tyrannical. They're holding on to Jon's contract. Dana's saying he's absolutely finished, but they will not release him. This is some BS, man. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Listen, at the end of the day, Jon Jones has done a lot of ish recently. He's pissed a lot of us off. But this is... we got to stand with the fighter on this one, man. The UFC, they're acting like some... I don't know, man. I didn't want to say the word right back now because it would just mess up my algorithm on the video. But anyway, smash the like button, hit the bell for notifications, get all the new latest videos.